Let's talk about change management, the human side of technology change. As consultants, it's not enough to deliver a technically sound solution. It doesn't matter how good the solution is if no one uses it. When you implement Dynamics 365, effective change management ensures that people who are impacted by the new system understand it, accept it, and use it. Without change management, even the best designed systems can fail to deliver value to the organization. When Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella, talks about change management, he highlights that it isn't just about using a tool, but how using a tool changes what I work on, how I work, and the workflow. Change is a constant in both work and life, but it doesn't come naturally to most people. Try this exercise. First, take out a piece of paper. Second, hold a pen in your dominant hand. And third, sign your name. How did that feel? You probably did it without thinking about it. But now, switch the pen to your non-dominant hand and try to sign your name. You're probably thinking, why on earth would I do it that way when the way I usually do it works so much better? That's because our brains develop neural pathways or muscle memory that allows us to do familiar tasks without much cognitive effort because they've become part of our subconscious behaviors. You don't have to think about how you sign your name, you just do it on autopilot. By contrast, new tasks feel awkward and inefficient, and it's natural for us to resist because the new process is uncomfortable compared to what we're used to. A well-thought-out change management process can help people overcome that resistance to a new way of working. The goal is to help people transition from the initial awkwardness of new tasks to the muscle memory of doing them instinctively. So why is change management important? Because organizations with excellent change management programs are 7 times more likely to realize the goals of the project than those who implement without a change management plan. In this video, we'll talk about change management strategies you can use to support Dynamics 365 adoption and the pitfalls to avoid. Let's start with a definition. What is change management? According to ProSci, a leading research firm, change management is the process, tools, and techniques to manage the people side of change to achieve a required business outcome. While technology implementation focuses on technical aspects, change management addresses the human elements necessary for successful adoption. A change management plan seeks to provide the support each person needs to transition from their current state to a desired future state. Organizational change is often discussed as if it's something the organization experiences as a collective group. But actually, organizational change only happens when individuals go through a personal change process. We think about change management in 3 phases. The first phase, preparing for change, involves defining the change management strategy, preparing the change management team, and developing a sponsorship model. Questions we want to answer in this phase include, what are we trying to achieve? Who has to do their jobs differently now? And what will it take to achieve success? In this phase, it's important to gather a coalition of visible and active executive sponsors of the project from within the customer's business. Along with direct managers, senior leaders are important influencers of successful adoption. The second phase, managing change, focuses on executing change management plans while engaging, educating, and enabling all stakeholders. Key questions to answer in this phase include, what will we do to prepare, equip, and support people? And how are we doing? What adjustments should we make? ProSci have a framework for that individual change experience. They call it ADKAR, or ADKAR. And the framework highlights the steps that people need to move through. Each letter represents a stage of change. Starting with A for awareness about the change, then D for desire. Why should someone care about the change? Only then are people ready for training in the next stage, which is K for knowledge. The second A in the ADKAR framework focuses on helping people develop ability through practice. And finally, the R in ADKAR is for reinforcement, which is also the third phase of the change management process. Reinforcing change includes collecting and analysing feedback, diagnosing gaps, managing resistance, and implementing corrective actions to sustain the change. Key questions to answer in this phase include, now where are we? Are we done yet? What is needed to ensure that the change sticks? And who will assume ownership and sustain outcomes? Change reinforcement is a big topic that we'll cover in more detail in another video. Let's look at some of the pitfalls that can block the change management process. While change management is more than a communication plan, effective communication is a foundational element of successful adoption. Surveys have shown that managers are more aware of the change and why it's happening than their direct reports are. So when a big change is being rolled out, a good rule of thumb for managers is to over-communicate, since when they feel like they're over-communicating, their direct reports probably are just feeling sufficiently informed. The same is true of training opportunities. Managers tend to get more opportunities to learn a new technology before it's rolled out. So investing sufficient time and resources to train people in the way that they learn best can aid adoption. Another change management pitfall you want to avoid is a lack of executive sponsorship. Without visible and active support from senior leaders, change efforts will lose credibility. ProSci's research shows that strong sponsorship is the most critical success factor in change management. When leaders are disengaged or misaligned, it signals to employees that the change isn't a priority. So what can you do if you face this? Work with the change team to support the executive sponsor. Let them know what you need from them and the impact of not getting that support. And if you still don't get it, you may need to find another sponsor. Finally, you can see my change management checklist on screen now. I encourage you to become a champion for change management on the projects you work on and share this with your teams. Here's my change management checklist. Number 1, start with sponsorship. Secure visible support from senior leaders to build credibility. 2, prepare people early. Define the change, identify who's impacted, and build a strong change team. Number 3, communicate clearly and often. Over-communicate to ensure everyone understands what's changing and why. Number 4, support individual transitions. Use training and coaching to help people move from awareness to ability. And number 5, reinforce the change. Gather feedback, address resistance, and make sure this change sticks. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Mission Implementation on Change Management Strategies. Focus on how people will be impacted by the technology and get clear on what's in it for them to make the change. Please feel free to connect with me and send me a message if you have any questions. You can find me on LinkedIn by searching for Meg Smith. Make sure you check out the rest of the Mission Implementation playlist for best practice guidance.